Welcome everybody to the RoundTable. This is Hip Hop Success TV. Sorry for the short technical delay, but we are in the building and we got the one and only Mysonne, the General, in the building, straight out of the Bronx, New York, representing. What up, Mysonne?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Man, you know what we came here for, man. We came to talk about this freestyle situation that's going on with Complex, and they released the top 25 freestyles on Funk Flex, and anybody in their right mind knows that you were supposed to be on that list, and we just want to get to the bottom of this shit, man. We want to get to the bottom of the situation and hear from the man himself at Hip Hop Success TV. You know, we just appreciate the culture. We appreciate those that add to the culture, and of course, freestyling is a major part of hip hop culture. And Funk Flex has the hottest hip hop, basically the hottest hip hop show, because he allows underground cats to get busy with cats with names. And, you know, anybody that has a buzz gets a chance to do their thing on Funk Flex. And everybody, you know, had the argument on the internet about, you know, whether your freestyle or Black Thought's was the sickest freestyle 2017. Now, would you agree with that?
I mean, you know, what I will say is this. Shout out to Black Thought. Like, Black Thought is my idol. One of my idols. Like, lyrically, he's like Jesus Christ. Right? And I had met him probably like 2 weeks before he dropped his freestyle. And, you know, he just showed me so much love and was like, yo, I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself was dope for me.
Wow.
And when you listen to his freestyle, like, there's no question that it was one of the greatest freestyles that I've heard. You know what I'm saying? So to be mentioned with that was dope. You know, I definitely believe, as I did before I even did my freestyle, that it was game changing. You know, that was the whole thing for me, was to change, like, do something to shift the culture from what we normally hear. You know, there's always raps about the same things, the glorifications of things that we know don't really add up to nothing, the miseducation, the misinformation of these kids that be in the street about street life and things of that nature. So when I did this freestyle, for me, it was an educational moment. It was really say, okay, I know what y'all think is real, but I know what y'all been taught. I know the miseducation that we've been, but I want to give you this from a perspective of knowing, like, being actually going through this and dealing and being in the streets and being in prison and being in this game, and just combine all of that to give a real message along with just dope lyrical content and just mixing everything in one. It was like gumbo for me. You know, I just want to make a verse that was gumbo, that had substance, that had entertainment, and that, you know, that kept you captivated for the amount of time that I was rhyming. So I believe that what it did, it definitely shifted the culture in hip hop.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Before I even met you personally, it touched me in that aspect where it was hip hop, it was street, it was bars, but it had a message. And that's rare, because a lot of cats, they can't touch on stuff that's going on in our community and still make it hot, where the streets is like, yeah. You know, that's an ill combo. Would you say it's safe to say, being that Black Thought, shout out to Black Thought, the Roots, true great group in hip hop, would you say it's safe to say he might have been inspired by your freestyle to give you props like that? I would say he heard your freestyle.
Well, I want to believe so. I want to believe that the greeting that he gave me, you know, at that time, calling himself a fan of mine. You know, I believe that was pretty much one of the biggest things I had did up to that point. So to hear him, you know, come back, and then when he was talking about, you know, I've been listening to Funk Flex recently and saying, you know, there's a bar been set. People have been rhyming for a certain amount of time, you know, and I know that I took the time to spit my freestyle for about 8 minutes. So I know that whatever it was, if something, maybe it inspired, maybe it was something that, you know, that he heard, or at least I believe that he enjoyed it. And I believe as an artist, when we hear things that we enjoy, and we hear artists that we do things, set certain bars, or you know, create certain moments, we inspired to do the same thing and better and continue to push it forward. So I believe that happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the internet feels the same as far as, you and Black Thought. A lot of the comments I read, it was before Complex came out with their version of whoever, I don't know if it was a writer. I don't know if the Complex put a group of people together and they voted on it, but whoever made the entire list. And I had a chance because I knew you were coming on the show. Shout out to everybody tuning in to Hip Hop Success TV, the Roundtable. Once again, we got Mysonne the General in the building, MC, activist. We'll get into all of that. But once I had a chance to study their list, I had to go and listen to each freestyle. Mind you, that took a long time. I had to listen to every one. And I wrote down some notes for each one, which we'll get into. But it's safe to say, this is my opinion, if you're not mentioned in the top 10, it's just pure example of the powers that be don't want a message in hip hop today. Because I can't really think of anybody in that 25. I won't say a couple cats had crazy bars, including Black Thought, Axel Leon, Fire. Certain cats was flaming the mic, but not too many cats was saying anything of, of substance or speaking on inequalities or speaking on what's going on in the community. So a lot of it was pure just battle rap type of scenarios. And I feel like Complex, I don't know who put this list together, but either they didn't do their due diligence. Let me ask you this. Was it just 2017? Because I couldn't find that on their site. Were they considering just the Funk Flex? Were these just freestyles in 2017? Or was this over the lifetime of Funk Flex?
Overall. I think it was just overall.
Overall, right? So some of the things I thought about, did you feel people were missing? Like I felt Kendrick's should have been on there. I felt J. Cole should have been on there. It's a few in that list that were just, they weren't on the level to me. A few people that they chose, and I don't want to destroy anybody's name or confidence, but there's just a few freestyles on there that just didn't move me personally. And I mean, what would you say, honestly, or were your top 5 favorites Funk Flex freestyles?
I mean, it's hard to say my top 5. What I will say is, I love Black Thoughts. I thought Loaded Lux was dope. I thought Arsenal was dope. I thought Axel was dope. I thought Fred was dope. I thought Don Q was dope. I thought Saha was dope. I didn't really I thought Meek was, I mean, it was a lot of them that I thought were dope. You know? And so to say who my top 5 was is like, it's just that it was some of them that I thought were dope.
Yeah. But
what I can say is that it's no way in God's earth that you would say that 25
that he was not in the top 5.
Top 5. You can say, look,
I would have to agree.
My favorite 5, these are my personal favorite.
Yeah.
You may be able to, maybe 10 and I'm going to fight you. But to tell me that 25 people had better freestyles than it's like.
You made a good analogy. I forget whose show you was on, but I watched it. He said that's like saying KD's not in the top 10 basketball players in the NBA. And I thought that was
not even 10. Just saying your Russell Westbrook. For whatever you don't like, people say that they're not in the top 25 players in the NBA. It just don't make sense. Like the body of work speaks for itself. Like that freestyle transcended genres. Like I explained, like that freestyle is being taught in professors are teaching it in their classes. Like I get 2 or 3 a week where professors are using that freestyle to teach classes. Mm-hmm. People that don't even listen to hip hop are saying, that's one of the best freestyles they ever heard. Kids are listening to it saying, this is dope. 50, 60, 70-year-olds from 9 to 90 are listening to that freestyle. So when you want to freestyle, anything has that.
They're listening to that like a record, bro. They're playing that shit on the internet like it's a record, not just a freestyle. People are actually, the amount of comments on it and the amount of arguments that it has based on what was the best freestyle of 2017 alone. It's a huge debate on the internet of, you know, and it basically comes down to you, Black Thought. I even heard some people say Axel Leon. You know, it was in that realm. I mean, Nick Grant, he went off on that list, but there's a few, and like I said, I don't want to smash anybody on the list, but clearly Complex, they know that. They put some cats on there to me that were fumbling over words and repeating hooks over and over again and kind of falling off and falling back on. There were a few cats to me that have flows that were somebody else's, you know, very sound similar to a certain artist. And like I said, we're not a hip hop success to diss anybody, but that's just coming from a hip hop base. From my era, you couldn't sound like nobody. If you sounded like somebody, or you was fumbling over your bars on a freestyle, you had to go back to the drawing board. Even on the Wake Up Show with Sway and Tech, if you couldn't be on there fumbling over your bars, and if you did, you better kick a freestyle to pick your shit up so that nobody knew that you was fumbling. And I felt like a couple of cats did that, where you and Black Thought was one take. Like, let's go. This is what I do. It's not fumbling this. I'm an MC. I've crafted my art, and it showed on the mic.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no sweat. And as far as Complex, do you think that they did that because the things that you're doing in the community, because of your stance on inequalities, because of the moves that you make in the Black community and what you stand for? Do you think that has something to do with them leaving you off of this list?
I don't really know, man. It's a lot of things that perplex me about this industry and about the way hip hop is moving or not moving, and the type of people that they highlight and what they don't highlight, you know. And it's just like, I'm perplexed every day. Like, you know, I hear music and I'd be like, damn, this music is so dope and it has such a message. And these artists are so inspiring. Then I hear music that really does nothing but that don't even make sense and is being pushed, and, you know. So I realized that there's either some level of a conspiracy, or there's just a level of ignorance that's so profound and so prevalent inside of hip hop right now that we really just going. It's like fighting upstream. It's like going against the grain, and it's like it's really perplexing me. Like I know, like, I've been listening to hip hop. I know what's dope, and we know what's dope. So when the majority of people are like, nah, this is dope, and it's not getting the recognition it should, you got to start wondering why.
Absolutely.
Yo, this is Coach Tony Brace. Can y'all hear me, fellas?
I hear.
Yeah. What up, Coach?
What up, my son?
What's going on, King?
Hey, man, you got it, champ. Hey, man, I definitely appreciate your humbleness, but I'm going to stay from my point of view that Complex dropped the motherfucking ball. Excuse my language. And there's a lot of people out there that's frustrated, man, because at the end of the day, let me bring up some images. This culture of ours, I don't know if the people really understand. Mysonne, the General, was literally birthed in BX, where hip hop started. And these people have the audacity to leave them off the top 25 freestyle. Let's talk about the gatekeepers. You know, Complex was started in 2000, for those that don't know. That some people consider hip hop, but I don't think he comes from our community, and that's Mark Echo. You know, could Mark Echo be qualified to influence hip hop? To a small degree, I think, but he doesn't own Complex anymore. By the way, for those that don't know, Verizon Communications now owns Complex. And Complex has been acquired in 4 corporate acquisitions. The last one was for $250 million. The current CEO of Complex is a gentleman by the name of Rich Antonello. Okay, so when you really look at the gatekeepers, the powers that be, these aren't the same people that started hip hop in the South Bronx and spread throughout the 5 boroughs. So I'm not saying that these guys make the day-to-day decisions, but I know at the highest level, they shape the narrative of the magazine, of the online publication. What are your feelings on that, Bam?
I would have to agree. I would think if we kept it all the way 100, I know that to be a fact that they left him off that list because of what he's doing. I mean, truly, I'm a bit outraged because I feel like Complex, I mean, they feed into guys like academics and guys that feed the culture poison. They love to talk about the beefs. They love to talk about the poison that's going on in the community. And at the end of the day, they'll say it's a business and we want to give the people what they want. But if you feed people enough BS, they're going to start to get a taste for the BS. And I think that that's pretty much what's going on. The gatekeeper, that's why you don't hear too much positive stuff anymore on the radio. You don't hear a balance. And it's not just because people just want to hear a bunch of negative shit all day. It's because there's an agenda along with that negativity that's being, given to the people at a mass amount. So, yeah, I would have to agree. Mysonne, how do you feel about that?
I have to agree with that, especially with people like these, like academics. I think he's just so bad for hip hop culture in general because he's able to dictate what goes on in the streets from his computer and create so much problems. You know, people say, "Oh, he's just reporting." No, he's not reporting news. He's not just giving you what's going on. He's giving connotation. He's giving you his point of view. He's amping the people up. If you listen to it and somebody says something and this person says something about that person, he said, "Oh, he's ready to do this to him, and he don't look like he's joking, and he look like he's about that business." So what you do is you amp up a bit. It ain't just you reporting.
Right.
Somebody said this. No, you're creating your own dialogue that's going to fuel the fire, and this is what he does all the time. And that's what I understand. You're not like that, but you're creating that for people and putting people at risk because you're able to do that from your computer. So I definitely believe that there are a lot of things that they promote that doesn't uplift the culture. But I also want to do what I want to do is not only shout out and talk about the negative, but I want to shout out from Flex first for giving me the platform.
At 100.
And secondly, when the list came out, he commented. He went on his page to say, "Listen, y'all this is a good list. But Mysonne is definitely in the top 10. Y'all dropped the ball with that."
Yeah.
I want to shout him out for being able to do that. Then there's also another website, these guys called the Connected.net with a K. They created a list that was more hip hop based on and also Funk Flex actually did his list, that came out months ago that was based off what the people said from the internet, which was made more sense in terms of what people that actually listen to music. So, I'm not going to give Complex that amount of credit to even because they don't really dictate the culture. It's just sad when you have that many followers and people actually listen to you and you giving them information that's so far from what the culture even agrees. Like, I didn't even know anything about the list until it was over, 30, 40, 50 in a row. People hit me like, "Yo, I can't believe y'all took Mysonne ain't on this list. This list is trash. Who dropped the ball?" So, that's what it is. It's like, I don't really care. They don't get to validate me or anything. But it's just that when you have a voice in hip hop, when people look to you for some type of guidance or some type of opinion, and it has some level of value, we should treat that with some level of responsibility and treat that with some level of, regard and say to ourselves, "Look, I'm going to take the time out to understand what this culture is about, what the pulse of the culture is, what people are listening to, what is important here, and then make decisions based on that."
Good points.
Oh, go ahead, Coach.
No, I was saying good points, and I appreciate him, reflecting from a different point of view of positivity. Bam, share with the audience why you and I started HipHopSuccess.tv, because it was really to combat some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I agree to a certain extent, but then I also respectfully disagree with you, Mysonne, in terms of the corporate titans that have control. When you look at the top 3 record companies, from Universal on down, there's only 3 of them that control at the highest level, and then they influence the Jimmy Iovine's and the Interscopes and the Atlantics. And then when you look at the radio stations, you see that iHeartRadio and all these conglomerates kind of came together, and they do control the narrative of our culture because there's dollars behind it. You know, when you have, and you could do the research, investment bankers put $60 million in the complex. Hip Hop Success TV was bootstrapped by myself, Bambino Brown, and our other business partner, Master 5. So it's hard for us to compete with that in terms of dollars, but we're not doing it just for dollars. By the way, we are doing it for dollars, but we were doing this really to preserve the culture, because we all know who invented rock and roll, right? We all know that it's cool to exchange in culture, right? We participate in culture, but we can't get robbed, because 200 years into the future, they might have a narrative that Tupac looked like me. Keeping it 100. And the kids may believe that. So I'm not here to start no beefs with one particular organization, Complex. You know, I like what some of what Complex is doing, but I just wanted to highlight, you know, what the streets is talking about, what the people was talking about. You definitely, from my point of view, I put down in my top list, and it's no particular order. I had you, Mysonne, Black Thought, Royce the 5'9", Kaya Baby, Papoose, Shahai, the Prince, and Arsenal. But the blatant disrespect, if the ancestors that are no longer with us in hip hop, from Easy E, Jam Master Jay, Big L, Biggie, Tupac, if they were participating in this roundtable, I would have to believe that they would be shocked and appalled that you didn't make that list, brother. That's all that I'm saying.
Absolutely. And Coach, you go ahead, Mysonne.
No, I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm definitely was shocked, and then I understand your point of view. Me, I have to look at it from so many different perspectives, because I don't want to be biased. You know,
Sure.
That's why I said, I might not be in the top 5, even though I think I'm in the top 5, even though I think I'm in the top 3, or I might not be in the top 10. That could be somebody's perspective. You know, it's easily ways to just get your favorite 10, but 25 to me is just ludicrous. It just doesn't make sense. So that if it would have been the top 10, I would have felt like they bugging, but I wouldn't even comment on it, because that's just my personal opinion of what it is, and that can be your personal opinion. When you start getting into 25, it don't matter what order it is. You know, there's how do I say it? There's just a standard. You know,
Yes.
Standard 25. You might have a different order. You know, that's why you can misinterpret the top 10, because it might not be in the order. It might, with 25, the same.
It's almost like this. Not to cut you off, you know, because you work with this brother, and everybody that's tuned in obviously knows your impact into the community. But it's almost like the NFL owners saying that Kaepernick can't be on the team. We're not even saying starting. Yeah. Everybody that has any level of competency knows that's BS. And there's an agenda behind that. Kaepernick can play second string, if not starting, for anybody in the NFL. Well, Mysonne, the General's bars, like we've all been saying, has to be top 25 in terms of that list. That's all that I'm saying.
Absolutely, Coach. And anybody of intelligence know.
And to add on to that point that I'm saying is, look who controls the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? When these brothers start off in the fall, some of them are going to have to make a decision on many levels, whether they come out, kneel, take the fine, stay in the hallway, go on Facebook Live. I don't know. But all that I'm saying is that the powers that be that control that league, they're controlling that league. But the powers that be in this corporation don't control shit. The people control it. Hip hop music controls it. The South Bronx control it. I'm a West Coast guy, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. But I've always acknowledged that New York City is the mecca of hip hop. Period.
That's just fact.
Not just keeping it 100. And I'm a West Coast dude, born and raised, deep dog pound to Snoop to West Side Connection.
Hold up, coach. If the owners let Kaepernick back on the field, then he's going to show and prove, and then everybody's going to know he's a great player, and they can't allow that. So that's why Complex didn't put Mysonne on there, because if he was number 11, it would have made Mysonne a little mad, but he was like, all right, you know what? I'll take 11, because now everybody can do their due diligence and go listen to it, and then people that follow Complex can go back and write comments like, hold up, how is this guy at number 11? And speaking of that, the order in which they had these freestyles, Black thought they were on point, putting him up in the top. Arguably, to me, if it was Black Thought, Axel Leon, Mysonne General in any order can be argued. Royce the 5'9" too. I just felt like, Meek went off as well. Just the order that they have it in, when I went through it and listened to it, by the time I got to a few of the freestyles, and this is no disrespect to any artist, a lot of them just didn't grab me. And some of, I'm from the era where freestyles meant a lot. You had Big L and different cats on the radio, and you had to say something that people remember. And one thing about Mysonne's rhymes is certain bars that caught you. Black Thought, the way he just went after bar for bar, it took you over when you watched it. Axel Leon had a bunch of slick lines. A lot of the cats on there was losing their flow, falling off, repeating shit over and over again. It just wasn't that. They came in there and slayed it. And I think that's what hip hop is about. And
let me ask you this, Bam, not to cut you off, but who is perceived out of that freestyle, even though Mysonne's not on that list, who's perceived as the biggest threat to America? Do you think they want Mysonne to have influence where he can, I don't know if you're eligible, Mysonne, based on the past, but if you could run for mayor of New York, or if you could hold office, city council in the Bronx, these corporate entities don't want to help facilitate the growth of Mysonne General. This is just my analysis. Okay, of course, I'm not in the boardrooms, but I'm not stupid as well. This brother has a significant influence. He's waking people up, particularly the people like us that are cut from the cloth of being from the streets. I'm talking about the real streets, where you, at least for me, my daddy put a pistol in my hand when I was a young dude and said, get down. You know what I mean? My daddy, and he regretted it later on in life, put me on the bus with him with things on that Greyhound. And I'm saying is, Mysonne has refined himself. He's raising the level of awareness for the brothers that come from where we come from, the brothers that talk about that drug game life, brothers that don't understand the rules to the street codes. In his bars, he talked about pecking orders, heavyweights to featherweights. He talked about police brutalities. I don't think the powers that be want to facilitate that conversation. And that's why I personally think he was left off the list.
The same codes of the street that Pac talked about.
Right. Come on, in that interview that he dropped with Monster Code, for those that didn't listen to that, go Google that. Go YouTube the conversation with Tupac, and I think it was Monster Code from A-Tray Gangster. Yeah. That was a real conversation. So, like I think you said in one of your freestyles on the BET, by the way, I thought, and I just keeping it 100, my opinion, I thought your freestyle was the best on that out of Eminem's, and I think Eminem is dope. But I think you said something that you got the anatomy of Tupac, right? Mm-hmm. How did that line go, Mysonne? I am the rap leader rivalry, the leader of the cavalry.
Rivalry, leader of the cavalry. Young Huey P with Big Meech mentality. Rap captain Tupac's anatomy.
That right there puts fear in them.
Yeah.
That's my analysis. And I'll let y'all finish it up. That's Coach's points.
Absolutely, Coach. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, bro. And at Hip Hop Success TV, man, we want to highlight cats like you, Mysonne, who are taking the initiative to get out in the field and put down the boots on the groundwork, as well as come with hot hip hop. The only person I could really think of when I talk about this is Tupac. So to be spoken of in that same breath, I'm sure is an honor. coach to I think Black Thought is someone of intelligence. When you listen to his rhymes, he makes you think. But as far as being boots on the ground like Mysonne, I can't. There's no one on the list, or no one. Well, there's a few cats.
No one in the industry, fam. Come on.
Yeah, that's
no one in the industry that's pushing the line like Mysonne is.
No, but you got killer.
You know
Mike's,
what I mean?
You got David Banners, you got killer Mike's, but they're not actively.
Yeah, David Banner had we talked for like an hour the other night. He was in New York. I didn't get to see him, but that's my brother. He supports me, man.
Who's that?
David Banner.
David Banner.
Yeah, and I agree, Bam. They're pushing the line, but they're not pushing the line from cats. And this is no disrespect. Cut from the cloth that we're cut from the gutter, from the projects, from what I just talked about, what I experienced with our father. But my father, that's the difference. Good brothers, Black Thought, intelligent brothers. But as far as Mysonne's name is Mysonne the General. He's leading a brigade of hip hop breed, so to speak. And that's intimidating. And my last point, and I apologize, when you think about music is similar to like mathematics in terms of it being a science and an art form. And when you understand music sonically, you know that sound is a vibration and a frequency of vibration. And what that vibration does, it sets the tone and the mood for how you think and feel. Hence why in movies and television shows, you have somebody that scores the music. So the powers that be, they understand this science, and it's easier and more clickbait to put that ratchet shit up versus putting that woke but gangster shit up. And they know that. That's how I see it.
Would you agree with that, Mysonne?
I definitely agree with that. There's definitely, because and it's not just me, it's a lot of artists.
For sure.
That I listen to and I say, damn, like, there's no way that these artists shouldn't be in a whole nother stratosphere. You know, I put out bodies of work and I put out music, and that's the question I get all the time. Like, damn, I just don't understand why are you not like the biggest artist in hip hop? Like, why is it, you know? And so when I hear that, I know it's not just me. Like, of course, I got unbelievable belief in me. And, you know, my confidence in what I do in my art and my craft is phenomenal. But when you hear those same sentiments come from neutral parties that just love the art and just listen and they don't understand and they just listen and try to figure out, like, sometimes I listen to songs, like I just put a song on my Instagram because they don't hear me though. And out of all the songs that I probably put up there, it probably got the least response. And somebody went on there and was like, and it's so true. It's just in its core, like, they don't hear me though. It's you talking about shit that's really going on and how it's affecting us and how all of this shit is street. It's still street, but it's so, you know, it's soul food. And to see when people don't respond to that or people don't listen
to the deepest message, yeah,
the ears have been trained to something different. When you realize that they're not responding to the shit that's eternal, the shit is the music that's not going nowhere. Like when you listen to Pop, and I tell people all the time, he made eternal music. It's not going nowhere because the words in the music, the time of the music is timeless because those are situations that my great grandmother went through to my kids are gonna go through. Is we gonna all experience certain levels of the same thing in music. And it's sad that type of music gets notoriety and it gets, you know, pushed when later on. You know, my music, I tell people all the time, like, the music that they got now is the music you grow out of.
Right.
Grow in.
Right.
And so it's a difference. So I understand that my process is going to be different. Because timeless music, though, I put out music that I made 7 to 8 years ago that people like, yo, this song is so crazy. Where it been at? And I'm like, I made this 8 years ago. But it's timeless. No matter how you play it, it's going to still have the same effect. So I understand my cross to bear. I understand my gift and my curse. The ignorance is bliss. So
Yeah.
when you get tired of being bliss, at some point they're gonna be like, wow, I appreciate what this brother done, and it's gonna be here.
Yeah, that's a trip that you say that, man, because it's hard for people sometimes to look in the mirror and take that road. It's easier to go turn up to something at the club and then you're done with it in 10 seconds. But it's a shame that that's not the topic of passing music around. When you produce something that touches people's soul like that, you would expect everybody to say, yo, this touched me, pass this around, instead of some garbage that, makes women feel low or glorifies selling dope to our own people, or a dude in a dress with another cat sipping a glass of wine and two niggas got purses on and everybody in hip hop is acting like that's okay. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about, Mysonne. I want to see how you feel. When I see stuff like Lil Uzi Vert, doing the little girl dances and wearing a dress, when you got kids and you don't want your kids influenced by certain things too young. When I see cats like that with Young Thug, now both of these cats in the music, they talking about guns and Uzis, and we got gunpowder, we got all this, but y'all sitting together with two purses on, having a glass of wine, preaching the thug movement, and you expect me to say, okay, this is the hot new this is what's hot now. You got Wiz Khalifa and Big Boy Power 106 on the radio saying, why doesn't everybody let these cats just be who they are? If they want to wear purses and dresses and be thugs and shoot everybody up in the dress, and that's okay. They're just being free. And the Tupac era of me and the soldier that I am is like, man, fuck that weak shit. Why is everybody acting like they not watching the movie that I'm watching? And Coach and I started Hip Hop Success because we watched World Star take over our community and take over the hip hop game and say, this is what hip hop is. Hip hop is when people are beefing and smacking the shit out of each other. That's popular. When motherfuckers are beefing, that's popular. When we're selling dope to our people and pointing guns at the camera and everybody's killing each other, that's popular. That's what the masses want to see. No more Mysonne song that's saying what we need to hear, how we need to uplift our people, how we need to teach them to uplift each other, how to build our community, how to put black businesses in our community. That's no longer what's popular. That's no more mainstream. How do you feel when you see? I guess my question is, I gotta say, because I know we gotta be politically correct, because we still need your music to blow up. We still want people to promote it, but how do we walk that fine line between promoting fuckery and keeping it real? Like, how do we walk down the middle and just keep it real? Because I feel like people nowadays won't, because it's not the right thing to say. Complex may not like it if we say that. Or if we shit on Lil Uzi and Young Thug in the dress, then Baby and Cash Money won't think that that's nice. So now Snoop, everybody, Jay-Z, nobody's saying anything, when back in the day, everybody would be like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Tupac would have slapped the dog shit out of both of them. So what is your stance on what's going on in the hip hop community with all of the stuff that's at the top of the pile, the little pumps, the little hoo-hoo, the little yachties, the little whatevers? How do you feel about that?
Well, I have kids, and my son is 20 years old, and my nephews, 18, 16, 20. My little brothers are 20. So I have conversations like, of course, at first it was very confusing. A lot of this shit was just very confusing to me. And then what I said to myself, right? And I sat down and I thought about when I was young. And I said to myself, I remember looking at the old dude with the bell bottoms and all this stuff, saying, I don't want to be him. I don't want, because he's telling me, boy, pull your pants up and this and that. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, you're so out of touch to what's going on in today's culture that I can't even tell you, because you're not even trying to listen to me. And I always said to myself, I'm not going to be him. I'm not going to lose myself, but I'm not going to be him that's so out of touch with what's going on in the culture that the kids don't even feel like they can even have a conversation.
Right.
What I did was I sat down and I asked questions, and I started to pay attention. I realized a lot of it ain't for me. It's not, there's stuff that's not for me. The little Uzi verse and all that. I'm not wearing no purse. I'm not doing the girl. It's not my thing. But what I also realized, that's somebody's thing. Whether I like it or not is not going to dictate whether the culture likes it. What I have to do is figure out why does the culture like it, what it is that they're attracted to in that. And what it is to them, there's a level of authenticity and freedom in it. We are in an era where there's no boundaries. There's no more parameters, as John Gotti said. There's no more boundaries. We live in chaos. So if understanding that we live in chaos, like anything that you want to do is acceptable. And people feel like you should be accepted in doing whatever it is that you feel you want to do. There's no criteria. Like hip hop, there's no more criteria. There's no like you have to be good. Hip hop is the only profession where talent is not required. Just think about it.
Today it's not.
Huh?
In today's hip hop is not.
Right now, today's hip hop is the only profession where talent is not required. You don't have to be talented. You don't have to have any level of skill. You don't have to have anything. So understanding that, if you get caught up, which a lot of us do, we get caught up of what we know hip hop to be, what we know the culture to be, then we'll also lose the opportunity to shift it. Because what we gotta do is look at what it is that's winning. In order for us to continue to compete, we have to evolve with things. That's what happened with a lot of companies, a lot of different individuals. The reason why Diddy is able to continue to make himself relevant is that he evolves with the culture. He don't, just like Snoop. Snoop evolves. Snoop continues to evolve with the culture. And he says to himself, okay, this is what they like. I might not like it, but fuck it. I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna stay me within the culture. I'm gonna figure out how do I take the shit that they
fit into this. Let me ask you this: could that lead to hip hop's demise? Because
the thing is, it's always what also happens is when you, as long as that you remain relevant in something, you also have the ability to shift it. You understand what I'm saying? So if that's what I do with music. When you listen to my music, right, there is something that's so vintage, but it's also so current. It's you understand what I'm saying? It's talking about the things, but in a different context. The same shit that they talking about, the same street shit, the same drugs you talking about. I'm just telling you a whole different perspective that they not giving you. I'm taking Future's beats, saying the same. I'm saying my thing over his same beats. I'm using my own philosophy over the same shit that they love. So when you figure out how do you take the shit that they use to harm us, and we use it for us, it's just like people say, I don't want to vote, this and that. No, we gotta get inside the building to be able to change the narrative. So
I think we in the building, though. I think we in the building. I think we got so many artists.
So many. Just think about it. You got to think about it to yourself. How many times it was some dude that used to be this and that and was trying to tell you some shit, and you thought that they were so out of touch to what was going on right now. We don't want to be those people.
But hip hop was never built on that. Back in the day, you kept the elements of the hip hop. It's like jazz or any other music, blues. It's like a new blues singer saying, "Hey, we ain't got to play live instruments no more. That's old school. We all synthesize." Well, that's not blues no more. So then we need to do a subgenre like trap hop, or we need to do mumble hop, or whatever we're going to call it, that respectfully caters to the youth, because they are expanding off of hip hop culture. But if we don't teach them the elements of hip hop, MCing, b-boying, breaking, DJing, you ask these young niggas these days, they don't
forget about knowledge.
They don't even know what a DJ does. They don't even know what scratch. I mean, they don't even know the elements anymore. So I feel like, yes, we got to change with the culture, but respectfully, I would disagree in the fact that I think it could lead to the destruction of hip hop, because it has no rules anymore. Oh, everybody could wear a dress and be a thug. Oh, you can say things that you really don't do. Whatever happened to nah, bro, keep it real. Oh, you sound like him? Get off the mic. You can't copy him. Oh, you got the same flow as dude? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, your beats sound the same? Get the fuck out of here. Everybody's using the same beats, doing the same flow on a mainstream scale. That's why it's a breath of fresh air to hear somebody like yourself who can come with a hip hop flow, still rock it over a future beat, and still touch on both sides because you've taken the time to study the culture, old and new, in order to come up with the rest.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's the key to it. It's teaching people within their ignorance. People don't know that they're ignorant. So when you blatantly just call them ignorant, you cut off any opportunity.
Because they're ignorant to their own ignorance.
Exactly. So you cut off any opportunity of dialogue. It's like people don't know they're sick. So that's why you have cherry flavored cough drops. Because some people don't know they're sick and they don't want to take the medicine because the medicine tastes too nasty.
Yeah.
But when you give them the cherry, they think they really eating candy. But at the same time, you healing them. So you got to teach people within their ignorance. They don't want to know that they're ignorant though. So you got like what I do with people is I ask questions. I don't tell them something. Because when I was young, I didn't want you to preach to me. I didn't want you telling me, yo, you don't do this and that. I ask you questions like, yo, what's going on with you, kid? Everything good? You're like, yeah. All right, so what you doing? I'm worried not doing. So how you gonna get some money? Like, how did you intend to do it? Oh, so you're gonna risk your life and your freedom? So you think it makes sense to do 50 years for 2 years? I mean, if that's what you think makes sense, then cool, I get it. But I just want to know what you think because I think you're a very intelligent person. So I just want us to be on the same page. I want to get your perspective. It ain't about what I think. It's all about what you think, King. So when the conversation is shifted like that and they feel like they created the dialogue, even though you created the dialogue and you shifted the whole narrative, now you invaded their brain. But when you come at them and say, yo, what the fuck is you doing wearing this dress?
They on the defensive. They on the defensive. I hear you.
You know what you're talking about. So there's a method. We can't detach ourselves from the people we're trying to save.
Absolutely. Because we've let it as the OGs, and I'm gonna say we, because shit. I got 2 kids too, so I'm in my mature stages of life, So I'm gonna say that as OGs, I feel like we let the younger generation down by not giving them certain tools. I'm not saying they should be just like us. We wore baggy shit. They wear tight shit. I find myself now looking at the old baggy shit like, what the fuck was I thinking about? And find somewhere in between where it's not too tight. So I'm not knocking it. I think there's room for dialogue to evolve the culture without offending the youngsters and making them turn their back to us. And I feel like that's another roundtable we'll get into one day, and we hope you can be a part of that. And big salute out to you, Mysonne, for joining us at the roundtable, bro. Let's promote your mixtape, man. One time, can you tell the people about your new mixtape and how they can download it and how we can get these bars to the people?
Yeah, the new mixtape, Gangsta Boo Woke as Fuck, is out now. You can go to my SoundCloud. It's on thatpiff.com. Tomorrow, it should be on every major streaming site, Tidal, Apple Music, all of the major streaming sites. But I really just put out a project because there was so many people waiting for a project, and I'm in the process of putting together this album, which is like phenomenal. And I had so many different songs that didn't make the project, but was a project in itself. So I said, we got so much music that, why not just give the people something to hold them over until this album comes
out. Any producers or key features we can be looking forward to hearing, or or are you kind of keeping that in the cut?
On the album?
On the album.
I don't even know. I mean, it's so.
What about the mixtape?
The mixtape, we got Dave East on it, we got Fabulous, we got Swiss produced and sang the hook on the track. We got a bunch of different like up and coming producers that's on there. So it's a dope body of work, man.
That's what's up.
Like I said, it's the medicine and the candy it gives you a feel that's current, but it also gives you lyrics that's vintage and gives you a feel of what hip hop always was, and then it gives you a little feel of what it is now. So I'm proud of it. People is getting rave reviews. Everybody hears it, loves it. So, I would tell you to go out and get that.
Everybody out there, make sure y'all go pick that up. Make sure you listen to that Funk Flex Mysonne, the General Freestyle. Make sure you write in the Complex and tell them how they slept on it. Maybe they'll change their top 25. I'm sure we're going to get Complex to change that up. Shout out to Black Thought, Roystified 9, Loaded Lux, Meek Mill, Kaya Baby, all the MCs on their top 25. I mean, y'all did y'all thing, man. Shout out to hip hop and people that love hip hop. Yo, we want to thank you again for joining the Roundtable and allowing Hip Hop Success to interview you. Also for the culture, thanks for letting us be a part of that process with you, bro. It's all love. We appreciate what you're doing in these streets, Mysonne, and you always got a home on the platform. You know that. It's all one love, and we'll be in touch, big bro.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love and support. And we here. Let's go, Hip Hop Success TV.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.